Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Mark Cox. I have a school out in Chatsworth, California. I'm currently a 6th degree black belt in Tang. I'm also a 1st degree black belt in Hapkido. Practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under David Myers, and I also brown belt in Krav Maga out of the National Training Center. Once again, my teachers, my Tang instructor is Dennis Ichikawa. I've been with him for the past 25 years. My Hapkido instructor is Master Farabors. My grappling instructors are Dave Myers and John Will. And my Krav Maga instructors are Sam Sadade and Darren Levine out of the Los Angeles location for Krav Maga. So a little bit about myself. I started in martial arts relatively when I was a little older at 21. And I've been doing it now for the past, over 25 years now. And it's been a huge part of my life. I have produced under my school at present time, and as of 2007 I have 337 black belts, I believe, underneath me at this time. I have several students that have started their own schools, one in Georgia, one now in Huntington Beach, one out in Acton, and they all do extremely well. We're underneath the Alliance of American Tang Soo Do under Dennis Ichikawa. You can look up my website anytime you'd like. It's www.chatsworthkarate.com in the San Fernando Valley. I got involved in the martial arts through my brother, believe it or not. My little brother was getting ready for high school many years ago, and we were living at home at the time together, and he came home and said, "Mark, I'm able to get out of your bear hugs now." And being the big burly football player that I was, I picked my little brother up and I squeezed him with all I had, and all of a sudden you saw my brother just wheel his head back, boom, hit me right square in the nose. And the next day I was at Tarzana Karate under Dennis Ichikawa signing up for Tang Soo Do along with him, and that's how I got started in the martial arts. Some of my best memories of martial arts, I think some of my best memories, boy, it's hard to, there's so many, it's hard for me to pinpoint what it would be. I guess one of them was actually seeing my oldest son Michael get his black belt was a huge highlight for me. I would say some of my competitions when I was breaking, I was a world champion breaker in the mid-90s, and I was at a breaking tournament, and I was really amped up for this tournament in Texas, and I competed all year for it, and I demoed this huge demonstration. I was seated top seat at the time, and another gentleman came in to compete with me, and he was in a wheelchair, I remember, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, it's going to be really hard to beat a wheelchair. It really is. How am I going to do that? And he came up and broke, and he even missed some breaks, and I remember underneath it all, this whole year of work that I did, and this gentleman came in and didn't do all the required breaks in my mind, and he wins this, world championship title, and I take second place home. And I was just really devastated, and I think probably some of my ego talking at that time. But what had happened from there was we got to listen to him speak the next day, and it was his time to be a world champion, because his wheelchair was from a car accident and probably not going to be around by the next year, as he contracted AIDS in a transfusion. And this is the gentleman that competed against me, so it was an extremely humbling experience for me as a martial artist to know that winning is not everything at certain times. And that was probably one of my biggest moments as from a martial artist, from a very serious growth standpoint. So my advice for other martial artists, what I like to say from my years of experience as a teacher and a studio owner, I've owned Chatsworth Karate for going on close to 17 years now I've had a school. And my advice is, like I give all my students, is, as you go up in rank, a punch is just a punch, and it's not important as what you know, it's what you can teach. And I've had really good experiences with black belts of mine where they've gone off and taken my teachings and even gone beyond what I could ever dream of doing, which is a huge compliment to me. And I've had the same experiences probably some of you school owners have had, where you've had black belts go off on their own and kind of ditch either your teachings or just you as a person per se. And so my advice for you as a martial artist is loyalty, because when it all comes down to it, the martial arts community is a very small family, and I think loyalty stands above all. Making sure that your teacher and teachers are always on the forefront of what you want to do, what you want to portray as an instructor, I would say. My teachings from Master Farbors, my teachings from Dennis Ichikawa, my teachings from the Krav Maga Center, my teachings from David Myers, these are all my instructors, and they mean so much to me to be able to carry on what they've taught me, because without them I seriously wouldn't have what I have today. And it's important for me, and I would say it would be important for you as a martial artist to continue on with that. So what's in the future for me is, as I continue on and develop leaders, I believe that my experience, from my years of experience from owning schools, I'm at a point now where I'd like to really help others further their school. You can tell by our websites at chatsworthkarate.com that we have many programs to choose from. I go out and do seminars now, or my power breaking days, being able to go out and see my other students excel in tournaments if that's what they want to do, or just excel in life if that's what they want to do, and just being that role model that my instructors were. I look back on my instructor Dennis Ichikawa and see the role model he's been as he's turning 60, and still just has the same passion as a teacher as he did when I first started with him. Watching Master Farbors, and his students grow, and just if there's a need, I have a phone and it's there. David Myers, same thing. He's just been an instrumental part of my life to help me further my understanding of ground as we evolve our martial arts even further. And so the future holds me continuing on a resolve to be one of the best instructors that I can be for my students, and a role model for my children. So my role models in life, my role models as far as martial arts go, I'll tell you, one of my biggest role models in life is probably my father, because he has a huge heart and a man of extreme integrity, and I'm still fortunate that I have him here for advice on what he's done. Both my mom and dad both always been there for me, and it's been a pleasure being able to, as a son, now to try and give back to them a little bit. Other role models as far as martial arts go, I've mentioned them before. Dennis Ichikawa is a huge role model for me. Master Farbors has set the pace for how I do things in my school as far as curriculum goes. I also have David Myers to thank, and John Will to help me with ground fighting curriculum, to make my students a better all-around martial artist, and as well as helping me. The Krav Maga has gave me a new insight as I've earned a brown belt instructor status there under Darren Levine, and Sam Sadeh would probably be my main instructor there. And it's just been, there's so many role models. I guess the best role model for me would be to be God. You know, without Him, and you know, my dream would not be a reality, as He has helped me through many hardships as I have. And if there's anything I've learned, is to have resolve as a martial artist. So in my closing statement, I would say that I want to thank the martial arts community and the martial arts, my martial arts peers and my martial arts instructors, for just being there to have a resolve, to teach me how to have resolve in life, and for me to be able to teach that to my students. I've done everything from world championship competing, to having my school, to producing black belts, to having my black belts produce their own black belts, as per se, as the circle of martial arts life continues. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of that for my students and my instructors, to further their teachings of what they've taught me. You know, I'm a dad. I have 4 children. I got 3 boys and a little girl. So I guess martial arts have taught me patience. It's taught me conflict resolution. It's taught me humility, patience. Without my martial arts training, I had to bring all that into fatherhood too. And it's just been a awesome journey. I look forward to the second half of the journey, as you know, your competing days wind down and your days of experience blossom. And so I look forward to, you know, what God has in stake for me on this my next journey here, as I continue to grow. And if there's anything of Tang Soo Do that you'd like to know, or to get a hold of me at, you're always welcome to email me any comments. You can get a hold of me through chatsworthkarate.com. Our American Tang Soo Do Alliance is probably the biggest Tang Soo Do alliance under the Chuck Norris. My instructors, Dennis Ichikawa, under Chuck Norris's, you know, we have you know, well into the 1,000 black belts underneath us, and a good solid core of black belts that have schools underneath him. And we'd be glad to help you with anything that we can there. You know, I look forward to any comments you have. I look forward to any corresponding emails that you might have, and look forward to meeting you one day. And for my closing statement, I guess I would say that karate has been the better part of my life, and it's brought out the best of me, and maybe it's brought out the worst in me at certain times. But if it's done anything for me, it's teach me to be a man of resolve, and hopefully a man of integrity, like my father was. So in closing, I want to say God bless you all, and Oos.